Hi, welcome to our Dynamics 365 series for the day. And this marks the beginning of Microsoft Dynamics 365 Fundamentals ERP, which also can be called MB-920. All right, so I'll be your instructor for the next few weeks. Today, we're starting with the very first topic, which we titled Week 1. So, a little bit of introduction about myself. My name is Siabi Komi winner. I am a certified Microsoft trainer. I work with a company called James Consulting and in the language fluently in French and English. And I've worked with some clients. All right. So I've worked on these applications AX 2009, EX 2012, AX 7, EX 1611, and the current version, which is Dynamics 365 Finance and Operation. I also have a blog where I do post some of my experience that I encounter on my daily activities. Also, I am part of the Dynamics community where users come to ask their questions when they have concerns, and I try to also answer with the little knowledge I have. And for the last month, the month of August, I came top three in these categories. All right. Now let's dive into today's course. So, what is this course all about? So, in this course, we will try to introduce students to some of the basic concepts of enterprise resource management, as well as each of the finance and operation app in Dynamics 365 family. So Dynamics 365 is a family of applications, and we have CRM, we have Dynamics Sales, we have Commerce, and also we have the Dynamics 365 ERP, which is also called the Finance and Operation app. So in this course, we will cover the core functionalities of Finance and Operation as an app, and we'll try to break down the Finance and Operation app into Dynamics 365 Finance, Dynamics 365 Supply Chain Management, Dynamics 365 Commerce, Dynamics 365 Human Resources, as well as Dynamics 365 Project Operations. So in Module 1, we will get ourselves introduced to the core functionalities or capabilities of Dynamics 365 F&O. So we'll look at what can I achieve with D365 Finance and Operation. We'll also look at the reports capabilities and how we can integrate F&O with other apps. So in a nutshell, we're going to look at the integration points that we have with finance and operations, how we can integrate this with other things like Gmail, WhatsApp, even with some other ERPs as well. And in module 2,
Yeah, okay, guys. the now we join us back is to try to reconnect. I think there's technical issues there that we're going to try to fix. Sorry guys about that. Okay, and I hope everyone can hear me. Okay, we can hear you now.
Okay, so we got
Yeah, good.
right. So okay, so I was talking about what we're going to cover in module two, and in module two, we're going to look at the core capabilities for Dynamics 365 Finance. All right, so I was saying we're going to explore the general ledger. We'll look at the account payables and account receivables in Dynamics 365 Finance. And also, we'll explore the expense management module where employees can easily come to the system. They can raise cash, they can retire their expense. And also, we will see how we can manage our fixed assets in Dynamics 365 Finance and Operation, and how we can budget for the entire organization. And in module three, we will talk about the supply chain management module. We will look at how we can explore warehouse inventory management capabilities in Dynamics 365 supply chain management. And also, we will look at the basic manufacturing strategies where we'll talk about things like discrete manufacturing, process manufacturing, and a little bit of lean manufacturing in the Dynamics 365 finance and operation. So there, we will see how we can configure our products, our product group, our item model group, and the rest of them. Then in module four, we'll look at the commerce in Dynamics 365. There we'll see how we can create, how we can raise sales orders, and the rest of them. Then in module five, we will look at the human resource module in Dynamics 365. So here we'll look at the onboarding process, the recruitment, how we can do performance for our staff, and how we can also create courses or trainings in Dynamics 365 and assign or invite some of our workers to these trainings. And at the end of these trainings, any certificate that they are able to earn or skills will be automatically mapped to these employees in Microsoft Dynamics 365 and operation. And lastly, we'll look at Dynamics 365 project operation, where we can see how we can create project or how we can use the project module to maintain or to monitor internal projects for our organization. All right. So, who are the audience for this course? Right. So, we intend to um, create an awareness to IT professionals or graduate trainees who are interested in having the knowledge of how Dynamics 365 finance and operation works. So functional consultants who also are interested to have a broader knowledge of business operation and ERP can also partake in this course. And students or recent graduates who want to have a change of career and who want to use the F&O application and also probably want to pass the MB-920 examination. All right, so what do we need to be able to partake or to benefit for this Dynamics 365 series, which is the MB-920? Well, the basic thing you need to know is just to understand the basic financial principles and business operation, which we already know because I'm very sure we know how to buy things. When you buy something, you pay, you collect your change. So that alone gives you a sense of how business operation works. So now I want to see how this thing actually comes into play in bigger organizations. So a little bit understanding of cloud computing is helpful, but it's not so necessary. So if you don't have any knowledge of how cloud computing works, you are still welcome. So thank you. So now we're going to dive in the first module. So I'll quickly bring that up. So we're going to look at the core capabilities of Dynamics 365 Finance and Operation. So I'll be sharing the screen just in a moment. Okay.
Yeah, can you share your screen, your slide, or your? There was
So now we're going to look at
no.
the
Okay.
core capabilities of Dynamics 365 Finance and Operation. All right. So what can we actually do with Dynamics 365 ERP? So just hold on for the slides to come up. All right, so we have the slide which is up. So the core capabilities of Dynamics 365 Finance and Operation. So in this module, we'll get into the app. How does the app look like? What are the architectures around the application? Do we have it on premises? Do we have it on the cloud? And can we deploy it? So we'll talk a little bit about those things. And also, we can see how we can create reports on the system, how we can integrate this finance and operation app with other applications. So here we have some targets that we want to meet at the end of this lesson. So at the end of this lesson, we should be able to describe the suite of finance and operation app that we can use for enterprise resources planning. And also, we should be able to describe the use cases for finance and operation app. So say, for instance, you have someone that's seeking your knowledge on saying, okay, hi, so I would like to be able to deploy an application where I can manage my finances, where I can manage my supply chain activities. So can you recommend an application that I can use? So you should be able to be in best position to recommend if finance and operation app is the best fit for that organization. All right. So enterprise resource planning. So when we say ERP, we simply mean enterprise resource planning. So it's a business process management software where we can manage and integrate company financials, the supply chains, operations, reporting, sales, and even human resources. And sometimes we can also bring in transport management. So let's say, for instance, we have an organization that's into sales of appliances. So when the customer places these orders and we get these orders confirmed into the system, payment is made. So, right, or even before payment, we need to deliver these goods to the customer. So we can also use the transport management module in the ERP to move these items from our own warehouse down to the customer site. So here we have a summary of the ERP. So on the ERP, we have the finance, which is the general ledger. We have assemblies where we can do our manufacturing processes, supply chain where we have our inventory, our product, our stock, and the rest of them. And master planning as well. So we can plan for our item, we can plan for production. We have the inventory management, we have the procurement and sourcing, where we can raise our purchase orders, our purchase requisitions. We can send out RFQ, which are requests for quotations to vendors, and we will get the reply from them. We can also see how we can compare those and make better decisions. So, what is Dynamics 365? So earlier on, I said Dynamics 365 is actually a global name for different applications that we have created by Microsoft. So Dynamics 365 connects with Power Platform and Microsoft Dataverse for insights, innovations, and connectivity between your data and your business. So Dynamics 365 contains applications like Business Central and Finance and Operation app. So Business Central is on its own, which used to be called CRM, which used to be called Navision rather. Then we have Finance and Operation, formerly known as Dynamics AX. So when we talk about Finance and Operation app, it's just a single application, but that can be broken down into all of these things, finance, supply chain, and the rest of them, like I said earlier. So why would someone move to finance and operation app? Because these are some of the things that the client will want to know. So I already have an ERP system in place. So why do you want to convince me, or what's the need for me to move to Dynamics 365? So let's say, for instance, there's an ERP in place, but that ERP doesn't have so much capacity to take over or to be able to contain the different transactions, employees record. So Dynamics 365 F&O has that capacity. So when you want to deploy the application, you don't have a quota, or the infrastructure can always be tailored to your own business, right? And then if you're using an ERP,
Okay, sorry guys. All right, it seems there's a technical fault here. I'm trying to get the trainer back. Just a moment. Apologize for that. Okay, sorry guys. All right, it seems there's a technical fault. So, it connects. Just a moment. Yeah, we can hear you now. You can share your slide. Yeah, you
Okay.
can go ahead.
Okay. So we're looking at what can we benefit from switching or going with an MS-365 ERP. So we can increase productivity. We can get control of financial management. The system can also assist with human resource. We can streamline our project management needs, and we can also improve our supply chain management operation. And on top of that, we can also make better decisions through business intelligence and AI. So the good thing is the ERP is also integrated with Power BI and some report tool where we can see the system. And all of these are coming from a single database which is centralized. So it's easy to relate this data from different models among themselves. Okay, so now we've talked a little bit on the applications. So let's even see what it looks like. What is the feel of finance and operation app? So I'll go into the login in, then I will show us the system. So with D365 finance and operation, the system is actually cloud hosted, though we can also have the on-premises version, which simply means some clients will tell you based on our data policy for our company, or maybe even based on the country, they don't want the data to be hosted by an operation on premises. So like I say, I'm going to log on. So I'm going to show us the system. Okay. So let's just allow the application to come so I can continue. Okay, so here the system is a web-based application, which means we can access it anywhere we are over the web. So what we need is just a URL and also login credentials. So the ERP is linked to our Office 365 account or your Outlook account. So it simply means the system actually supports the single sign-on. So with my Outlook detail, I can easily log on to the system and connect to the ERP. So it's that easy and simple. So once you connected, we have this interface that shows finance and operation. Here we have a search bar that we can use to search for a page.
we can't seem to. Can you? We can hear you, but we can't see your screen. Yeah. Okay, we can see your screen now.
All right. So here we have the application. So to log on, we need a URL. Then we need Office 365 account login details. So once you log on, you have the home page where we see the name of the organization here on the left hand side. At the middle here, we have the search bar. So here we can search for a page on the system. On the left hand side, we have the menu that can show different menus. Then we have the home. When I click on the home, it takes me back to the home page. We have recent, we have workspaces, and we have module. So let's look at the modules. So Dynamics 365 F&O has different modules, which we call in some other application. Here we call the module is the grouping of different forms and tables relating to. So account payable, for instance. So account payable, I can see different submenus like workspaces, vendors, purchase orders, invoices, and the rest of them. So when I click on the vendors menu, for instance, access to different menu items, and these menu items are entry points of D365 F&O. So when I click on all vendors, for instance, it takes me to the page where I can see all the vendors on the system. So here is an example where I have a list of all the vendors on this system. At the top here, we have what we call the action pane. So on the action pane, I can do some actions like edit, create a new record, delete a record, and some other actions that I can be taking this. So to go back to the home page, I can easily click on this finance and operation. Then voila, we're back to the home page. Now on the page here, we have calendar, the current date, and underneath it, we have work item assigned to me. So what this is doing is, of course, in the system, documents to individuals for approval before some decisions are being made. For instance, I am the controller and I have some transactions that are here. That look a little bit beautiful. And what those styles are doing, when you click on them, they take you to what we call workspaces. So what are workspaces? We'll look at that in a short while. Then I come back here at the top right, I have USMF. So USMF simply stands for the initials of our organization, which in this case is Contoso Entertainment System USA. So when I click on this drop down, organizations, legal entities is the concept of organizations in finance and operations. So it simply means I can, for instance, Coca-Cola is an organization, and I have Coca-Cola France, Coca-Cola USA, Coca-Cola Germany, right? So Coca-Cola decides to use across the globe. And so of course, the postings are not going to be happening in the same chart of accounts, or probably there are some tax elements that are specific to each of these countries. So in that case, we will decide to create different legal entities on the system, and you can see all of them here. So as a system administration, I can have access to all of these legal entities at a go. However, we can assign legal entities to employees based on their geography, positions, whatever we are doing on the system. So the system gives us a prompt to say, okay, voila, what you're doing is completed. Or maybe have the setting icon. Then under the setting icon, I have things like the user option, the tax recorder, mobile app. So we also have a mobile version on your app to do basic things. We have personalize. We can personalize the system to suit our option. We have things like visuals, preferences, accounts, workflow. Under visual, I can decide to change the color. Probably color is blue. I click on the color theme. This is going to change from the orange to blue. So there are times where we would like to also change the color based on the the colors of the organization. That can be done here. Then other preferences, we have few things that we can touch like the current legal entity that I'm in, the default page, and I can also change the language. So say for instance, I am a French person or the organization using this application is a francophone country, we can change the language here. Then under accounts, here we have details about the user which is currently logged on. So here I'm logged on as a staff of James Consulting, so I can see my details here. Then workflow. So I talked about work items earlier, where when you have something that needs your approval, you can come to the system and approve it. So we can also send email notifications when there are documents to be approved. So that can be turned on here. And lastly, we have delegation. So take for instance, um, I'm going on sabbatical leave or I'm going on parental leave, for instance. So I would like to delegate my work item to a colleague, pending when I am back to the office. I can do that also here. So having done this, I think we've been able to have a little feel of the application, how we can navigate our way through the system. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the system. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what we have. So we spoke about modules, we spoke about menu items, we spoke about menus as well. Then workspaces. So I said the tabs we have here are the entry points to workspaces. Then we have recent. So recent simply shows me the pages that I've visited recently. So I visited all vendors, legal entities, and all of these links in the past. So they show up here. Then favorite. What favorite does is, say for instance, I am an admin officer and on a daily basis, I deal with vendors, I deal with purchase orders, purchase requisitions. So to open purchase orders, for instance, I need to come to account payable module, or I can come to procurement and sourcing module. Then under purchase orders, I have all purchase orders, purchase requisition. So I don't want to be coming all the way down every single day.
Okay, we can't seem to hear you again. Can you check from your end? Hello? Hello, hello, Komi. We can't hear you. Hello, Komi. Sorry, guys, just a technical issues there, so we're trying to get back uh, the trainer. Just a moment. Yeah, we can hear you now. You can go ahead.
Okay, so we've been able to look at how we can navigate our way through the finance and operation app. And like I said, it's a web-based application. So for both the cloud-hosted environment and the on-premises environment, you can only access the both of them using a web URL details from your Office 365. So when at the beginning of a project, when you want to purchase this application, there are some licenses to be bought. And when these licenses are bought, we have what we call a project which is created on lcs.dynamics.com. So we're not going to talk more about the licensing here, but the basic thing you need to know is that when you are purchasing the application, Microsoft gives you access to a right number of users by default that have license to engage through the system. And also, you can manage all these licenses from your Office 365 admin portal account. So I can go there and I can assign Dynamics 365 Finance, Human Resource, as the case may be, to a user, and the user will be able to have access to these things on the system. All right, so this brings us to the first step of questions that I would like to ask. So if you are following, you can interact with us. So number one says, which sets of business function can you manage by using finance and operations app? We have the customer insights, we have inventory management, and human resources. So if you recall at the beginning of the session, we spoke about different sub modules in finance and operation apps. And we say it's a single system, but it has a way of managing your processes based on the business operation. So number two says I can manage supply chain management, human resources, and commerce. I can manage commerce, marketing, and human resources. So at the top of could it be number one, number two, or number three? So we say that the family of in finance and operations are finance, supply chain management, human commerce, and project operation. Yeah. I think you guessed right. So the actually supply chain management, human resources, and commerce. These three can be managed with finance and operation app. We can also manage our financial actions. We can also manage our product operations using FinOps application. Takes me to number two that says which finance and operation app gives you real-time visibility into warehousing and transportation. Business processes to reduce costs, reduce delivery time, and increase accuracy. So here I can see warehousing and transportation. So is it commerce, finance, or is it supply chain management? So with commerce, we can use like our sales order, our customer invoices, our customer payment. With finance, we can manage things like our chart of accounts, main accounts, our bank, our cash. Supply chain, we can manage things like our products, inventories, our sites, our warehouses, and also manufacturing. So when you talk about sites, we talk about inventory. Of course, you're talking about sites because your items, your raw materials, goods needs to be kept inside the site, and inside the site we can have warehouses, we can have locations, and the rest of them. So that obviously, as you guessed, is Dynamics 365 supply chain management. And the last one says, which finance and operation are caters to cost management? Yeah. So as a finance person, of course, want to make sure that you are abreast what is happening with your cash in the organization. So we have a module called management where we can bring data from different finance modules like the general ledger and the rest of them, bring all of those data together and see how we can match our costs based on previous data that have been entered into the system. So the answer here is Dynamics 365 Finance. Okay, so if you're following me, I think you've been able to answer these three questions. So this is a very good one for us into this journey that we call Dynamics 365 and operation, which is the ERP. So I believe you've been able to get at least basic things that this app can help your organization achieve. All right. So now that we do this lesson, we should be able to describe to someone finance and operation app that we can use for our enterprise resource planning. And we can also describe the use cases for finance and operation app. All right. So now we're going to look at reports and integrate finance and operation app. So here we're going to look at the very different options that we have to analyze our data because of course the ERP should be able to help us to analyze data because the top managers of each companies, what we need is data. Data is so powerful that by just seeing the screen with data graphs, we can make decisions. So we can use we can analyze our data with F&O. We can see how we can manipulate the data using Microsoft Office or Microsoft product. And also, we can see the different use cases where we can integrate the application with other Microsoft products. So, the report. So, what are the different type of reports that we have in Dynamics 365 F&O? We have SSIS reports, which stands for SQL Server Reporting Service Reports. So we can create these reports in Dynamics 365, we can modify them, we can add things, and we can even remove some if we don't need to make use of them. All right. So I think we've the other reports we have Excel. We can also download our data to Excel to have. We can also integrate the application with Power BI. I can give also some analytics tools, design different graphs here and there. All right, so I think we've been able to have an introduction to the ERP, Dynamics 365 F&O. So I think now we can move to question and answer section. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Kobe. Guys, if you have any question, you can just drop your question and then we can be able to answer from here. So previously, we have previous question, but I was able to provide some of those questions. Somebody was asking, maybe just to confirm, what does it require to set up DAM 365 F&O? That's the first question. And how long does it take to for the trial to end?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Hello?
you. Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, so for the licensing, so we have a license guide on Microsoft Docs. So there we can have more details about the licensing. But the before now, we have a license type where when we purchase the application, we can have access to different modules on the ERP. So Microsoft now has broken down those licenses based on. So gonna show us. So when we can always check licensing. So come to Google, we can type D365 F&O licensing. So the system shows us the licensing guide is a guide where we can always go through. So here I'll just type D365 F&O license guide. Okay, so it's a PDF file that we can always go through and see the different information that are there. All right, so about the trial, right? We have different way of having access to the application in non-production application. Someone that is practicing, learn, Microsoft Learn. Then there you have a demo environment which is available for you to test some of these things. So to assess that environment, what I would do, I'll just click on MB-920. So here it's going to show you this, right? So here, what I'm going to do is come to, so you're going to try this, you want to go for the exam. Then when you scroll down, you have the learning part, right? So here it says start. So when you click on start and you go through this course, you would see where you would have the application in the web. So let me see if you can have access here. So here, right here. So you can see here, I have access to a demo environment which is available for everybody on the internet. So you can come here and you have a feel of the application. And the lab here, it's basically available for now 1 hour. And when you try to log in again, you can always access the environment. So that's it. I think I'm able to answer the question.
Oh, all right. Okay. Thank you very much. If you have any question, guys, we're going to end this section now. So if you have any question, you can always drop it on the comments below on our YouTube channel, so we can take it off from there and apply you. All right. you very much, Komi.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. So we see you at next section
Yeah.
and by 12 p.m. All right. And also see you there. All right. Have a good day.